it's like having another position on my team. And when you own a small business, you're not like a large business that has their own recruiters. So Team Hire becomes part of my team and frees up that time for me. There's so much time involved in recruiting, and you took that off my plate. Really did. Took it off my plate. So far, the results have been great. I have two offices, one in Concord, New Hampshire, one in Rutland, Vermont. And I just hired somebody for Rutland, Vermont, and I hired two people in my Concord office. So the results have been great. It's been, one of my favorite things about Team Hired is they don't, I wasn't left hanging. So we had interviews, and there were some good candidates, some great candidates, and as everybody knows, they don't all show up for second interviews. And Team Hired has stuck with me all the way through it, interviewing every week until I had that hire that we thought was a rock star, and those are the people I have on my team now. Oh, the virtual interview process. Everybody asks me about that when they're questioning whether they should use Team Hired. I get a lot of phone calls on it. And, for me, I was afraid of it the first time I entered into it. Virtual interview and a group interview, and having that group virtual interview, and I think I told you this, Debbie, before, but having that group virtual interview, for me, once I saw it in action and how professional you interview people, you do it way better than I could ever do it. And I'm sure your whole team does it that way. And having that group interview allowed me to speak some, answer some questions, but sit back and take notes on the interview process or on the interview questions and how people were answering, and having a second opinion from a professional interviewer at the end of the interview from this group, and choosing who we think should go on in the process and have a second interview was more valuable than you can ever imagine. Because sometimes I walk out of my office after interviewing somebody and I'm iffy on it. Now I've got a second opinion, and that second opinion with somebody that interviews people every day is more valuable than I could ever imagine. And it's helped me narrow down quality candidates, and like I said, get the rock stars pulled out of all the people we interview. The other thing with that group interview, it's amazing that you can see so many faces on there and so many questions being asked, but it allows you to say no, no, no. You can really see who's standing out in the crowd. And when you're doing it individually, on my own, I don't have that crowd atmosphere where, okay, who's going to step up and perform? Because when you're in sales, you have to step up and perform. And that has helped me identify the people that are not going to be afraid of that phone, not going to be afraid of a no, and not afraid to talk to anyone. And that's what I've seen out of the candidates so far. I've referred it to several friends already. Again, it's time management in this job. We spin so many plates, and to have somebody on my team to help with that process. So, not only does Team Hire help with finding the candidates, interviewing the candidates, setting up second interviews, follow up after the second interview to see how they did. It's discussion on those interviews. It's something that I would actually have to hire a recruiter on my team to do. So, number one, cost-wise, It's the most efficient way you can hire somebody today. You can keep spinning your wheels and keep spinning your wheels if you want to, but looking at the cost to put Team Hired on, it's cheap. It's cheap, and but the quality isn't cheap. The quality is top notch, and that's why I would recommend it to anybody. And I get so many phone calls from people saying, why, what are you doing to recruit? How did you just put 3 people on? How'd you just put 2 people on? And so people notice on the outside, and I tell them, well, Team Hired, just make that phone call. It's very easy, and they'll get people for you. So I'm not spending 2 to 3 hours a day looking through resumes, going through Indeed, making phone calls. You do it all for me, and you can't put a price tag on that. It saves a lot. My time's valuable too, and you've taken that off my plate again. I'll say that over and over again. You took a major position off my plate, which you've become my recruiting team. So I'll never stop using you.